It is time for our weekday radio show. Thanks so much, listeners, for being there on the other end as I'm sitting across from Matt McCarty. He's the director of the Elko Senior Center. Matt, what a pleasure. Here we are, right at the doorstep of summer.
That's right, Lori. Yes, and the temperatures are a little warm for my taste. I know that people don't want to hear this, but I am definitely a cold weather guy, so I'm okay in the winter. The other day at workout, I looked at my phone and I told my coach, I said, "Oh, it's going to be 90 degrees today. I'm going to die." And he said, "You're going to be fine. Keep working."
Just keep working. Keep it plow through. Speaking of coaching, we are going to be talking about the senior games because now's the time to, make plans, and you don't necessarily have to get in shape, which is always nice. But I thought, we'll end with that sort of happy news. Not that you have bad news, but you're contemplating some things, the future of the Elko Senior Center, Matt. You'd love to have some public input, at least from our senior population, right?
Absolutely, yes. Lori, thank you very much for that. And I'm looking forward towards the end to talk about the the senior games as well. But yes, we do have, we have kind of two, this newsletter for the month for June. I put two serious topics out there. One of them has to deal with things that we don't have a whole lot of control on, and that's funding for our meals. We've grown tremendously fast. The State Aging and Disability Services Division is very supportive. They have funded an average of $3.50 for 93% of all meals over the past 7 years. This year, we grew faster than projected, and they just didn't have the funding to be able to keep up with us on that. And so we have to implement a wait list for Meals on Wheels. So if you or your loved one need Meals on Wheels, please let us know. We do have a wait list, and we are going to clear that wait list as quickly as possible. But previously, the wait list was more on an operations standpoint, an administrative standpoint, because we just had to do the paperwork to get folks started. Now we just don't have the capacity to be able to do that. So we did have to put in that wait list, and we also unfortunately had to pause our drive-through meals as well, because we were projecting about 14,000 unfunded meals, and we just couldn't absorb that. It equated out to about $54,000 and just was too much for us to be able to absorb currently. So that's why those were there. But to your point, as far as public input, is that growth also has equated into growth in the center itself. For example, today we had our Produce on Wheels that comes in once a month. And I say our Produce on Wheels, and it has nothing to do with us. We just simply are blessed and benefiting from being able to host it. The Food Bank of Northern Nevada does a great job with this. Sean is generally the driver, and he drives up from Reno, is here for an hour, and then drives back home. And in that time, he's serving dozens, almost 100 of our seniors, and they're able to get fresh produce for free. So we're appreciative of that. But the reason I bring that up is we served 134 people in the dining room before I left. Our capacity is 126. When you look at the parking lot, and we add on there the folks that come in for Produce on Wheels and don't come in to the center, we had more than a dozen cars parked on Indian View Heights on the street to be able to come in. Indian View Heights is a wider road, but it's not designed for parking on the side of the road. And so that creates a safety problem. And this happens almost every Wednesday and generally about every other Thursday. Our parking lot just isn't big enough for us. We're within code. We're within all of the requirements that we have to do for the city. And again, we appreciate the city's understanding, but we just don't have a capacity for the vehicles. And so we are looking for input from the public, particularly the seniors, of do they see a need for a new center? And if they do see a need for a new center, are they able to contribute anything? A number of people have said, I can't contribute this every month. And I said, no, this would be an annual or even a one-time contribution. And so the survey that's in there, we've said, if you can contribute, please contribute what you can and let us know what the timing looks like as well, so that we can just plan a little bit better on our end.
In fact, Matt, the newsletter states that the board voted to enter an agreement to purchase some land, right? I mean, that's a big step forward.
Yes, absolutely. And it's public because the land that we're buying, that we're looking to buy, is owned by a public entity. And so the charter school, the Elko Institute of Academic Achievement, owns a parcel of land across from the Peace Park. So it's at the corner of Ruby Vista and College, and we're looking to purchase that. It's about 9 acres. We're working through what we can do. We've had our eye on it for a while, and it kind of came open again, and so we're excited for that. We just don't have $1 million to be able to plunk down right now, and so we don't have cash. We don't have that large cash outlay, or that large cash asset. And I should say, theoretically and technically, we could purchase it, but it would exhaust almost 100% of our assets, and that's just not wise. That's not smart, because of course, as soon as we do that, we're going to have something happen with a boiler or with our chiller, and we're going to need $100,000 that we just purchased the land for. So we are looking for donations. We're looking for people that can help us to secure the land, and once the land is secured, then we can start looking at the dream of what would the next center look like. And we're anticipating this to be a 10-year process. So a lot of people are like, well, this building's only 25 years old. And they're right, absolutely. The building itself that we're currently in is an amazing building. It's got good bones. It was built well. It just isn't big enough for what we have right now. And that's what we're looking at. And by the time we hopefully get the land and get a new building, the existing building would be 35, 37 years old. And it's getting at that point where it is getting a little bit older. And so that's what we're looking for. So we do want to hear from our seniors particularly. And then we want to also know if there are any donors out there that believe in the mission that we're doing to provide nutritious meals and socialization, and see the value of us being able to secure the land to give us that room for growth.
Matt McCarty is Executive Director of the Ruby View. We used to call it the Terrace at Ruby View. It's the Elko Senior Center, and it is located at 1795 Ruby View Drive. It is a beautiful building. You've looked at expanding the possibilities. There are a lot of issues with adding on in any capacity, but as you just described, parking is the issue. You cannot grow out because you just don't have enough parking on that current campus there. And as you talked about, it could, even if you raised money to buy the land, it would take another 10 years likely to raise another several $1 million for the building. This is a time to start talking about it. So you are looking at some other options because you don't want to put locals on a waiting list to just go have congregate meals. You already have a waiting list for Meals on Wheels, Matt, but you're looking at some other options.
There are some other options. None of them are really desirable. The easiest the easiest for us to be able to offer would be 2 meal services. Perhaps we would do 11:15 to 12:15 or 11 to 12, something like that, and then kind of shut down the dining room, clean, and then reopen again for the second sitting. Of course, restaurants do this all of the time. We just don't have wait staff, and we don't have the cleaning staff to be able to do that. And part of our mission is socialization. So many of the seniors that come in don't want us to say, okay, it's 12 o'clock, time to check out. You got to leave now. And so we're trying to figure out, how do we do this respectfully? How do we do this in the spirit of what our mission is? And how do we do it effectively? So there may be some possibilities where we may say, okay, we're going to open up 2 servings, but not necessarily kick out in between, because we know that there is turnover. In fact, today we had somebody that finished their meal, I think, easily within 10 minutes. I had checked them in, made sure they were signed in, and before I got to the end of the line, they had come back and they had already finished their meal and were putting their plates away and they were ready to leave. And that works for some people. Other people want that time to eat slowly, or more importantly, perhaps visit with their friends.
Of course, we're talking about the Senior Center, and to underscore everything we're describing, of course, Matt has the numbers in answer to the question, are we truly growing? And
yes, we are. So I looked at the last kind of quote unquote normal year prior to COVID. And when I compared that year to last year, we had grown more than 20%. And that growth equated to more than 20 new people coming in. And I want to make sure, because I think the 20% I was off on, it's not, I don't think it's quite that high on growth, but it equated to 21 new meals a day. Now we're averaging close to 100 meals a day, every day, 5 days a week, just in congregate dining. If we grow at the same rate over the next 5 years, then we are going to get to the point where we are at capacity every single day. We can only fit 126 in the room as it's currently seated. We could buy more chairs, and instead of a 6-top, we could create an 8-top. It makes it a little bit more uncomfortable. That would squeeze in another 30 more people. So there are potentials to be able to have more people in the dining room, but we just don't have a place to park them. And so that's what we're really looking at. And when you look at a 5-year growth that results in 21 new meals a day, and then if you think about the fact that we were closed for almost a year for COVID, that really is an accelerated growth over the last couple of years. And it makes me proud and happy of our team and of our board of directors that we've been able to have this growth, that we've been able to build on the past successes of what our predecessors have done at the Senior Center. And we just really have escalated that growth. But then we've run into that, okay, now where do we put them all?
Like you said, it's a good problem to have. So basically, the Elko Senior Center is in the throes of a feasibility study, and that's where you're hoping people will go onto the website, maybe fill out this brief questionnaire, and contribute to some of the questions and answers that you're soliciting right now.
Absolutely. And if there's anyone that's interested and they're available tomorrow at 12:15, I'll have kind of a town hall question and answer session at the Senior Center. This is designed specifically for those that are in our congregate dining room so that they can come and they can ask some questions. They can get the information, because many of them, it's a beautiful location. I love the location as well. We have a great view, and many of them are hesitant to move from this beautiful building, and I understand that completely. And so I want them to understand that this is not just something that I'm willy-nilly saying, oh, let's just get a brand new building. This is also something that part of my job is looking to the future. Where are we going to be in 5 years and in 10 years? And that's why we're doing this now, to make sure that we are planning as appropriately as possible as we continue to move forward. But tomorrow, if anybody would like to come in, 12:15, we'll have that kind of question answer town hall type meeting. They can get the information that I'm giving people, and they can hear it straight from me, and hopefully then I can address multiple people, and instead of having a line out my door all having similar questions.
Right. And the senior community is very good about asking questions, so this is a wonderful opportunity. Remember the mission of the Elko Senior Center, Matt. And if you don't mind, I'll just read directly, from
That's
your
great.
newsletter. To provide nutritious meals, socialization, health screening, and education. Growth is a direct testament to the staff embracing the mission. The Elko Senior Center remains healthy and strong. We will get through this period of growing pains and be stronger on the other side. In the meantime, know that I'm available to answer any questions and address any concerns. Matt. So that's wonderful, Matt. That's really all anybody could ask for. You're being transparent. You're being truthful. Maybe some people don't want to grow. Maybe some people are willing to contribute through an estate plan, for example, to help this vision in the future.
Yes, absolutely. And that's in the survey. That's kind of part of that timing of, are you able to give in this year or next, perhaps 27 to 29, maybe 30 to 35, or sometime beyond 2035. And some of our seniors have said, I don't think I'm going to see 2035, but we have many young people that will see that. And then the other option, or another option, is that any donations or any contributions would be part of an estate plan. And we're appreciative of that as well. We do get these surprise notices from an attorney every now and then that says congratulations, or I shouldn't say congratulations, but it says something along the lines
not
of
exactly the lottery, but
right, exactly.
yes,
but it's we had someone who passed and they left you money in their will, and so we're thankful for that and quite appreciative.
And that's a way you can continue that legacy. You can make it a surprise, or, of course, you can indicate in advance what you're looking at giving, and then make sure you get those plans in writing. Make sure you consult an attorney. Estate planning is much more affordable than you think. And some people actually have insurance plans that they didn't realize that cover it through their employer. So make sure you explore all those possibilities so that your estate goes in the direction you want it to go. So just a little plug for that. So
absolutely, and there are a number of qualified attorneys throughout town and in the area. However, if you would like, you're also welcome to come to the center, and we have Nevada Legal Services that come in every other month. They'll be here on July 9th, and they also can do a simple estate plan. They can create wills or trusts, and they can do simple things along those lines. If it's a very complicated thing, then it may take them a little bit of time, but they'll sit there within a half an hour and visit with you and get what needs to be done, and they can go from there. So if you would like to visit with someone, but you're nervous about the cost, and like you said, Lori, they're not that expensive, but the Nevada Legal Services can certainly help at least get that ball rolling.
All right. So make sure you direct your funds, your resources, whatever you've worked for so hard all your life, in the direction that you'd like it to go. Because if you have left this task undone, when that day comes, sadly, if you don't have family or relatives that have also helped you make arrangements, the state steps in, Matt. That's the sad reality. The state gets the first cut.
That's right.
Yep. So you don't want that to happen. Not to scare anybody, but here's an opportunity anyway to think about the future, as you said, because our center is for people 60 or older, but it also accommodates a lot of other special events and activities, families. People love to come to the center just to socialize, and I know we've been there a few times, Matt, with the radio station, and it's truly delightful, and it's wonderful to connect with people that care so much about the legacy of this community. They help to grow it and create it and shape it, and they love to see who's in charge now.
Yes, absolutely, they do. So yeah, that is something that if you would ever like to stop by, regardless of your age, if you are one of our community leaders, or if you were a former community leader, or if you just are hearing the sound of my voice and would like to come in for lunch and would like to meet some of these amazing people that have built our community, stop by anytime. Generally, Monday through Friday, we serve lunch 11:30 to 12:45. Pretty affordable, in my opinion. It's a suggested donation for seniors, whatever they can give, whenever they can give it. For the rest of us that are not quite 60, it's a pretty reasonable $10 fee.
And it's a delicious meal made fresh. Today was beef stroganoff. I remember that from the menu this morning.
Yes, ma'am. So. And we appreciate you also, Lori, sharing that menu on a daily basis.
Oh, I'm so happy to do it. It's delightful. It really is. I know people look forward to knowing what's for lunch at the Senior Center. And delicious desserts. I mean, we could go on and on. Hot dog day, hamburger day. It's all really important. And you have some sponsors, too, I want to just quickly mention, who step up monthly and sponsor things like a Sunday bar or a birthday lunch.
Yeah. Tim Hatch with Edward Jones sponsors our Sunday bar, and he's been very generous for a number of years. And so, he sponsors our Sunday bar, which is great. And we have a number of other partners that come in, and we could not do what we do without them. So we are very appreciative of that.
Opportunities abound. If you'd like to contribute, whether to the future or to the day-to-day, it's our Elko Senior Center at 1795 Ruby View Drive. You can find them at elkoseniors.org. You can call during regular working hours, 775-738-3030. And who knows, you might just get to talk to Matt McCarty, the director of the center.
I do answer the phone, especially in the mornings. The afternoons are a little bit harder to get me, but yeah, I do answer the phone. And Janice, our administrative assistant, does a terrific job of juggling the people that are coming in and answering the phones and getting sodas for people if they need it, and all at the same time kind of being a gatekeeper of stopping people from just walking into the office. We've kind of created that. Carissa, our assistant director, and I have just kind of created that atmosphere where it's like, oh, just come on in. It doesn't matter what we're doing. Interrupt us, because they're important. That's, they're here for a reason, and we can usually do some of our work in the afternoon, but Janice does a great job of being that gatekeeper, and we're so appreciative of her. But you might catch me every now and then when you call.
All right, Matt. Well, let's work hard as a community to continue that open door policy for everyone, so no more waiting lists. That's just sad. We want to make sure that we can make Meals on Wheels continue to happen, and of course the congregate dining. And I want to make sure we get to everything on your list. I know we dedicated some time, Matt, but that is a very important topic. You have an active board of directors. They're not going to do anything without soliciting the community support and that of the senior residents who are using the center.
Absolutely. And we appreciate this opportunity as well. Another thing that I wanted to bring up briefly, as I was walking out the door, someone had stopped me and said they wanted to visit with me. And so I was able to give them a few minutes. And one of the things that she said that she's frustrated also with the wait list. And she said that, the dependence that we have on the government is something that concerns her, and she doesn't want us to be dependent. And we agree with that. We want to be as independent as we can. In the newsletter every month, and we started this in January, we have an in memoriam section of people that have passed away, but whose birthdays are in this month. And so that's one other way that you can give, because what we've created, because of a bequest that we received, it was a smaller bequest. It was and when I say smaller, I mean it was still very generous. But it certainly wasn't enough for us to buy land or anything. But we've created an endowed account so that the money goes in and the principal from that stays protected, and only the interest is used. And the idea is that we're going to continue to reinvest that interest into the account until we can raise that to a $2 million endowed account. That will then give us the ability to generate about $2 per meal. And that not only keeps the senior costs down, but it also gives us a cushion so that when there are economic uncertainties at the federal or state level, we have that ability. So look through the newsletter, and if you see a name that you recognize, perhaps contribute a $5 bill in their memory, and that will go specific to that account.
Matt, thank you so much. Matt McCarty is director of the Elko Senior Center, and that is a great way to contribute, whether it's just a few dollars a month in memory of someone who helped to grow this center, who loved this center. Maybe they didn't use the center, but they sure appreciated the idea that the center was there for everybody else. We want to keep the doors open. We want to keep people fed. I completely agree with that statement. Being independent is the best way, but that means we got to step up as a community, civic groups. We're all nonprofits. I guess not the commercial radio stations, but when you think about it, Matt, a lot of us who live and work in the community, we all need to contribute in some way to a nonprofit that we care for, because really all nonprofits are at risk right now.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. And we appreciate that. Before we move to the Olympics, I wanted to make one clarification, and there was a printing error in the newsletter. We are closed on Thursday, June 19th. That is a federal holiday, Juneteenth. We printed that we were going to be serving a meal that day, but the center is closed. So please keep that in mind, that Thursday, June 19th is a federal holiday, and so because of that, it's a county holiday, which means that we are closed. So I want folks to know that. And the 2nd of June and the 30th of June menus got rearranged. So we are having Swedish meatballs on the 30th.
Oh, so
big
changes
there. Wanted to make sure that we got that out.
I think it's correct online, right?
Yes, online is correct.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we've redone that one, and that one is good to go.
Newsletter's beautiful. Go to elkoseniors.org. A super easy way to access all this information and more. That's where you'll find the feasibility study, the brief questionnaire about growing the Elko Senior Center, and Matt's letter 2 for June, the month of June, talking about the realities, the challenges, and the exciting things ahead.
Absolutely.
So speaking of exciting things ahead, this is really the central station for Elko Senior Games, and it's hard to believe it's already almost time.
It is almost time for the Elko Senior Olympic Games, and this is I think we're in the 23rd year, which is amazing in itself, and we are so again appreciative of those that set this, pun intended, ball rolling as we've gone. And so this year it's July 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th. So it's the end of July. It's the last weekend of July, and we'll have opening ceremonies on Wednesday, the 23rd, and then we start getting into our activities on Thursday. We'll continue through Thursday into Friday, and then halfway through Saturday, and then we'll have our closing ceremonies Saturday afternoon. And so we hope that folks can join us. If you are on this one, you only need to be 50 and better for the Senior Olympic Games. And so if you are 50 or better, please go online, and you can find us online at elkoseniorolimpicgames.org. I say that and then I hesitate, but I will get that information for you. Or you can always call the Senior Center at 775-738-3030. Stop by to 1795 Ruby Vista Drive. We're happy to help you with that as well. And also stop by Full Range Physical Therapy. Jenny is the co-chair, and she does an amazing job, so they'll also be able to help you with that. And so it is elkoseniorolimpicgames.com is the website, and so you'll be able to find the information that you need there, including the sign-ups and the registrations. All registrations have to be done online this year. We are not taking any paper registrations. We will, however, have an opportunity for you to register at the Senior Center, and we can help you through that as well. So we want to make this as easy as possible for people, but because of making it as easy as possible, we do need to make everything electronic for the online registration.
Now, when you're thinking Olympic Games, you're thinking shot putting and javelin and swimming, and I mean there are all kinds of sports that are just extraordinary and strenuous, but not with Elko Senior Olympic Games. There are a lot of different activities. In fact, some are brain games, right, Matt? Absolutely.
We have brain games and Jeopardy. We have cornhole. We have darts. There's a walk, a river walk. And then if you are a little bit more engaged and a little bit more active, there's basketball. You can run up and down the courts, and there's novice hit that Jennifer over at the GBC gym does. So there's pickleball, running back and forth on the pickleball court. And then there are the track and field events. We have up to a 1,500 meter run. So there's a 1,500 meter run. We do have the shot put and the discus. I don't think we have a javelin, but we do have a javelin. We have a javelin and a high jump. So for those that are a little bit more engaged, yes, absolutely. We want people that are active. But if you're not quite as active as all that, there's still plenty of ways to be able to participate.
And the great thing about Elko Senior Olympic Games, a lot of camaraderie. You get bragging rights, but most of all, you get to inspire people around you, because sometimes aging is a little challenging. But as you said, 50 or better, this is a perfect example of how staying even just a little bit active, doing those daily walks, your stretching, your yoga, your Tai Chi, something that's a little more passive, can sustain you so that you can get out on the basketball court or play pickleball, right, Matt?
Yes, absolutely. We also want to make sure that anybody that has received the brochure already, on Saturday we did have a timing change. So Saturday the bowling will be 10 and noon. And so we want to make sure that everybody's aware of that. Saturday, the bowling will be 10 o'clock and noon.
Senior Games taking over the town beginning July 23rd. Elko Senior Olympic Games are sponsored in part, or centered in part, by, of course, our Elko Senior Center. A lot of great groups, organizations, other nonprofits, volunteers, and supporting businesses make it all possible, which is nice. You can give shout outs to anyone. And of course, when you come back on the radio show, we'll be just in time to add to that list if you want.
Absolutely. And again, we do appreciate that. Sponsors last year at the 22nd annual, so this is the 23rd. Last year, sponsors included the Elko Federal Credit Union, of course, Full Range Physical Therapy. We wouldn't be able to have a place for bowling if it weren't for Telescope Lanes. The City of Elko was helpful, Carter Engineering. It goes on and on. Spring Creek Golf Course is where we golf. GBC, Great Basin College, we have HIT there, and we have basketball there. We have indoor archery there. City of Elko allows us to utilize the facilities, so we are appreciative of that. Dr. Guzman and Parker Solutions, Kinross, of course, Jason Land does a great job as well. So there's a ton of folks that I just can't name them all, but we are so appreciative of the sponsors that we get, because it does put the games, gives us the ability to put these games together and be able to give some meaningful recognition when somebody wins gold, silver, or bronze.
Thanks, Matt, so much. We got to a lot today, and I hope we were able to squeeze in everything you were hoping on this visit.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much again. We appreciate the opportunity. And if anybody has any questions, please don't, on just about anything senior related. We may not have the answer, but we can probably put you in contact with somebody who can. Stop on up to the Senior Center.
I know they can do that for you. Thank you, listeners. 775-738-3030. Visit in person, 1795 Ruby View Drive. Get My Ride. That's Greater Elko Transit, so you can get a bus ride up there if you like. Arrange for that. And just, explore online at elkoseniors.org. So lots of ways to get more information. But get out there and support the Senior Center, won't you? Thank you again for your time, Matt.
Thanks, Lori.